Alright guys, we are in the garage. Once again, we are finally going to be putting the off-road go-kart together. We're not going to be able to put the whole thing together because the rims I had to actually repaint because I bought new ones but they didn't work. The parts on this are just so old. None of these new parts really work unless I were to buy something that's very expensive because they are the two-piece rims, and I tried to get two-piece rims. They're exactly the same, but I literally could not find them, and the ones I bought are wrong, so I'm just going to use them for something else eventually because they are newer, so they will work better for something else. But first, I'm going to grab a hoodie out of my car because it's freezing out here. Alright, so first things first, it's been a second since I made a video, so I'm going to show you what I've done because I've done a little bit of things while I was waiting for the rims that don't fit actually. So we're not even going to use those. So I figured might as well just start filming what I'm doing. So I cleaned up all this hardware and I cleaned up the pedals. I cleaned up the hubs that we'll be using. So everything looks pretty nice. The seat belts are kind of dirty still. I don't really know how to clean those without destroying them, which is fine. They're gonna be dirty. I fixed the steering too, which is a big thing. I don't even know if I mentioned that, but the steering was like locked up. This is how it works now. And basically what I did is there's this little like grease hole, and I just sprayed WD-40 in there until no more like brown stuff was coming out and it was able to spin freely. And then I put grease in there so that it won't lock up again. But there are a couple more things that I need to clean up. And I also painted these rims, so they look weird because it's the way it dries on not rusted surfaces, but it acts as a primer. It looks more like a primer than it does paint because that's what it is. So I need to get the other rims off of the old tires so that I can fix those and clean those up and then paint them. And I need to get more paint if we don't have any to paint the top coat, which will be just plain black spray paint. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the rest of the steering so that we can go ahead and get that completely set up. We fixed that part and we're able to do that right now. What I mean when I'm saying I'm cleaning these up is I'm just taking these pieces, like the threads and old stuff where there's surface rust pretty much, and I just put it in this wire wheel. You guys have seen this wire wheel a lot. I do use it a lot because it's just something very simple and easy to scrape off old paint, scrape off rust, scrape off any imperfection really. So this is what these pieces are looking like after I'm putting them through the wire wheel. So here's the old one. It's got all this like surface rust on it, pretty dirty. And then here's the one that I just did. It's way cleaner, way nicer to look at. So I'm thinking now I kind of want to paint all these because I'm trying to get the best price possible out of this go-kart. And if everything's fresh and repainted, it's going to look really nice. But I'm not sure because this looks pretty nice, but it's gonna rust again, so I don't want to have that issue for anybody. I'm not sure. I'm gonna decide and then I'll let you guys know. Alright, so I got all these steering pieces cleaned up. They look nice. I need to get in there more because that wheel doesn't get in there. I'll just use a small brush or something. Definitely gonna paint them because I just think it'll look better. It'll make me feel better. I think primarily what my goal is today is getting the engine on and the hubs just to see where everything is gonna be at. And we can find the engine, where the position for the engine's gonna be, and lock that down. And try to just paint everything we need to so that next time we can just throw everything on there and get it running, go ride it around a little bit. Alright, so I actually lost my other hardware that I had for this. I just put it in a bucket and I don't know where that bucket is anymore. But I found these and they're in way better condition. They look brand new. So I'm going to use these instead. And I noticed that some of the bolts were a little wobbly last time. So I have a washer now, which I probably should have had. And I have a lock washer too, which I did have, but I did not have this other washer. So we have both of those now. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. I'm not tightening any of these things. Just because I want to make sure everything is going to fit right. I don't think these bolts are long enough actually. So yeah, these aren't long enough, so I'm going to have to find longer ones. Hopefully I can find some just slightly longer. Alright, so I went looking and I found these. They are very long. They'll work great. And I'm realizing that these actually are almost exactly what I needed for the cage. I found them now and not then. And those are brand new, so I'm not complaining. Alright, so the engine is on now. The bolts fit perfectly. Everything looks really great. But I was about to put the pedals on and some of the steering stuff, and I was like, all this stuff doesn't look great, and I'd like to paint it before I do this. And I was like, I'd have to go get spray paint because I don't have anything here. But then I remembered that a random closet in my house had spray paint in it, and I went up there and I found a rust-oluem black gloss protective enamel, which is very similar to what I was using. So I'm just going to use that and prep everything, get it primed. I'm going to prime it with the Black Star stuff because it's more rust protection and it acts as a primer. And then we'll be able to paint stuff and actually hopefully put everything on. Probably won't be able to put everything on because stuff's going to be drying. I don't want to ruin the paint after I just paint it. But I'm going to go ahead and put another layer on these wheels and try to get the other wheels off. That's going to be a big issue too. And I can go ahead and put this seat on, which is over there. Excuse the live axle, that's not going on here. Prep everything else. So I'm going to do all these steering pieces. I'm not going to do any of these bolts, and I'm going to do the hubs. This is just going to be like completely black, but it's going to look really nice in the end, and it'll work really well too. Alright, so I painted a bunch of stuff. I repainted all these, did another layer, did the steering, pedals, hubs, and more steering parts. And if you could tell, it's getting this like dark black purple color, and that's what it does to rust. And all that white is just like where it's not rusty. So you can tell it's working, which is pretty cool. And it's like, again, primer. I know I keep saying that, but it works really well as a primer. Now I'm going to clean up the sprocket and the brake drum, and I'm going to paint those. Yes, I'm going to paint those. Obviously not going to paint where the brake pad would touch or where the chain would touch, but I'm going to try to get as much as possible just to have some more area to protect. And by that time, these might be dry. I don't think they will. I'll probably have to wait an hour or two, and then I'll paint them. I'll do another layer probably 30 minutes later, and then I'm going to let them sit for a day or two. So I can't actually put everything together today because I don't want to mess the paint up. I need to paint the pedal shafts, the bars. Here, I'll just show you. These things, I did clean these up a little bit. They look pretty good. And I want to figure out what I want to do with the seat belts, because I haven't had seat belts on a go-kart before because I've only had one, but these are all like torn up. So I need to figure out what I could do. Like I could put like a big heat wrap or something, or just tape them. I do need to figure that out. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. And I want to do some stuff to the steering wheel too. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with all that. So now I cut through the rubber, and you can start to see the cords to show right there. But yeah, these tires are just junk, so that's why I'm cutting them off. Otherwise, I would try to save them, and it probably wouldn't be as bad condition as it is now, so I wouldn't even have to do this. It is in bad condition, so that's why I'm cutting them off. Also, it might help to get the last couple of threads. I get a big screwdriver back here and spray some WD-40 behind it and on the tire to try and kind of wiggle it out a little bit, and then I can cut the last couple threads. There we go. Just cut the last thread, and the tire just comes right off after that. You can take this out. This is full of rust. But yeah, it's not that hard. That actually only took like probably 5 to 10 minutes. Obviously, I'm sure someone could come up with a better method. This is what I have with the tools that I have. But yeah, I'd like to see what you guys would do in this case. So comment what you would do. I might use it in the future, especially if I'm going to continue to buy more go-karts, because I know I'm going to have this problem. Alright, so this is what the rims look like after using the wire brush. So they look like all wrinkly and stuff, and I need to fix that hole. Actually, that's new. None of the other ones have a hole that bad for the valve stem. They look so much better without the rust. Like, I haven't done the insides yet, and that's what it used to look like. Here's what it looks like now. It almost looks like a composite metal, but it's not. You can kind of do what you will with these. I think this looks a lot better than rust, and if these are the only ways I can get it, then I'm going to try to do it the best I can. But now I need to paint these. I'm going to start actually spray painting the rest of the stuff that is dry as of right now. Alright, so I just did the first side. In like 10 or 20 minutes, I'm going to flip them over and do the other side. And I will see then if I want to do another coat. I might do another coat and then wet sand it and then do another coat just to see. But I don't know how much paint I have. So we'll see how far I get because I want to get a good finish on the rims especially because of how bubbly and rusty they were. These are still drying from the Black Star rust stuff, so they won't be done today. I'm not sure. Those might have to dry overnight. These should be done drying later today, so I might be able to put them on the rims. That'll probably be next video though. This video is once again just painting and prepping because that seems like this is primarily what happens with these types of go-karts, the ones that have been sitting in the yards forever. Next build, I would like to try to get something that has more mechanical issues or something just in really good condition but for a cheap price so that I can still have the opportunity to flip it. It didn't. Maybe. Yeah, it didn't. Sure. Yeah. Alright, so I just flipped everything over and painted the other side of all the stuff that I painted earlier, except for the things that are still drying from the Black Star paint rust stuff. But that's all that I'm gonna do. But shut up. But that's all that I'm gonna do for this video. I really just wanted to get those rims done today because I ordered the wrong ones and everything was just kind of sucking. But now it doesn't suck because I got it done. What am I saying? Beefy quesarito. Hell yeah. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.